Hey everybody, this is Ryan Alexander with Denison Yachting and broker and my friend Ari Scher.
Hey guys, how's it going?
This morning got off to an awesome start. Anything that I do with Ari is always over the top, and in true Ari form, he got us a seaplane to fly to today's boat to show you around. What was your favorite part of taking this seaplane?
Definitely cruising past our office on Lake Union and then over the San Juan Islands for sure.
So we fly for about 45 minutes. This is what that looked like in our footage. I've always wanted to take a seaplane. If it's not something that you've done, you gotta do it. Check it off the list. Totally worth it. To me, the coolest part was when we touched down, we landed on the water. We were a couple hundred yards away from this boat, which is what we're gonna be taking you on a walkthrough of today. If you've been following our channel for any time now, you will know that we show you a very broad and diverse set of boats on this channel. So sometimes it's by size, sometimes it's by interior or by amenity that a boat is interesting. But today's boat is interesting for a completely different reason. It's the way in which it was manufactured. And while this boat was manufactured in an unconventional way, it certainly was not in an uncommon way. And today, Ari and I get to tell you the story of this boat. We get to go into Crescent's history a little bit and get to show you some footage from the best sea trial that I think I've ever been a part of. Can't wait to show you around.
G'day, Ari Scher with Denison Yachting. The story of this Crescent 117 is best told in context of Crescent, the shipyard. For decades, the Canadian manufacturer has been building boats in North America with remarkable success. Some of her North American hallmarks include a reimagined country kitchen galley on the main deck that's just steps away from a secluded VIP. She also holds to her roots by boasting a well-designed crew area just off the engine room. The story of this stunning yacht begins in Italy, when Destiny Yachts laid up her proven production hull we see today. As the superstructure was added in late 2019, the yacht came to life in the form of a 5-cabin, 10-guest yacht. The design and construction was overseen by legendary Naval Architect Gregory C, who designed the Westport 112 and 117. The result of their combined effort is what we're here to show you today. In between 2004 and today, Crescent has inched its way closer in perfecting what would become this 117. Now Ryan and I are going to pass things back and forth as we take you through every space on board this Crescent 117. Let's have a look.
As we typically do on boats this size, we're going to start today's walkthrough up on the tender deck. Running along the aft, there are 3 stanchions that are a clean safety feature for an essential entertaining area. As you see it, there are deck chairs that are lined up, making for an ideal place to relax. But once you get a bird's eye view and you use your imagination, you can see that this area serves to entertain in any number of ways. The other use for this area besides entertaining is tender and water toy storage. This area is large enough to accommodate a 17-foot tender, 2 Sea-Doo Sparks, 4 stand-up paddle boards, and a pair of kayaks. Especially in an area of the world like we're in today, there are endless opportunities for exploring, and having a number of different water toys up here means that you get to explore it all. The full collection of tenders and toys are raised and lowered by a steelhead davit that can lift 3,500 pounds with ease, that is located on the port side. Forward of the davit, we next arrive at any super yacht essential, a hot tub with seating for 4. This is the perfect place to end the day with a bottle of champagne and a sunset. One of the most usable features of this sunning deck is the full wet bar that we see opposite the jacuzzi to starboard. In this area, you have everything that you need to keep the party going, with essential summer galley appliances such as a full-sized grill, refrigeration, and a dedicated ice maker and sink. This wet bar is located on the lower level of a split upper deck. Heading up a set of centerline stairs brings us to the raised section, where we have somewhat of a Westport-inspired flybridge. When you're up here, you get to reap all of the benefits of an entertaining area that's combined with the primary helm from which this yacht runs in the warmer months. Molded in seating is found aft on both port and starboard, and thanks to her thoughtful design, you and your guests have a great line of sight even when seated. To me, the magic of this area is its proximity to the wet bar and sunning deck aft, as well as how much shade is provided by this massive hardtop overhead. The skylights found in the overhead are made up of 3 large plate glass panels with the perfect amount of tinting. This design keeps the area from being covered by a shadow and also keeps the direct sun out. It's the best of both worlds. The Helm is found centerline and forward in this area. Thanks to the size of the space, there's plenty of room for guests and crew to congregate as you make your plans for the day and start the cruise towards your anchorage. The electronics here revolve around a pair of 17-inch Garmin multifunction displays and other essential controls like bow and stern thruster joysticks. These controls are not only repeated at the lower interior helm, where we're going to go over them more in depth, but also there are wing stations that flank the main Flybridge controls. These are located to port and starboard and to make inching closer to the dock a lot easier. I've already mentioned the adventure that we had this morning on our way to the boat. I also mentioned that Ari is responsible for all of it. One of my favorite things about working with him on shoots like this is how quickly he takes initiative to just make things happen. Whenever we're working together, I'm always impressed by his ability to juggle 5 things at once, and how he does it wearing a blazer. I also have to acknowledge the extra set of hands that we had today. Ari had his friend Louis join us for the trip, and watching these two take charge and handle the jobs of 4 crew members between the two of them was quite the sight. Louis just so happens to be the captain of a beautiful Fed ship that goes by the name Sea Owl, and came in clutch as we made the 5-hour trip from the San Juan Islands into Lake Union in Seattle. It's days like this when I'm reminded just how large of a role experience plays when you're on a big boat like this and you're out on the water.
I'm going to take over for just a minute to show you around the raised pilot house configuration. Having spent most of my life running larger yachts, I know layout and state-of-the-art technology is everything. Let's first take a look at the seating area. Aft in here we have seating for 7 to 8 people to both port and starboard. Each seating area surrounds a black quartz table. No matter where you find yourself in this area, you have a panoramic view to take in your surroundings. Here at the helm, we have a Garmin glass bridge with 3 large 22-inch Garmin displays and integrated Maritron vessel monitoring. Just to starboard are 2 Garmin data displays and a Garmin autopilot. These rest right next to the MTU engine controls and trim tabs. One other noteworthy item to point out at the helm is the stabilizer control. This is found next to your engine monitors.
Something I haven't told you about today's trip was one of the unique experiences of the voyage from the islands down into Seattle, which was passing through the Ballard Lock. I've passed through a few of these in my day, but never one this size. If you're unfamiliar, a lock is a way that you can keep 2 different water systems separate while still offering boats access from one to the other. After the boat moves into position from the salt water of Puget Sound, a gate spanning the waterway closes the chamber off, and then the gate on the other end opens. This is done to help preserve the fragile ecosystems that are found on either side. Once you pass through, you're just a short cruise away from entering the heart of Lake Union. After we pulled into the city and we got the boat in position, we backed the yacht into her slip, stern first, to finish the day's shoot. Seeing as this 117 features a full beam salon and doesn't have side decks, a great workaround is found at the stern. Back here, you have a Euro transom with chandelier stairs to port and starboard, where you can move lines and fenders easily up and down. Equipped with heavy deck gear and Maxwell 3500 capstans, getting ready to dock is a breeze when you're back here. In addition to being optimized for crew use, this oversized platform is a great spot for entertaining because of the absorbent teak deck and the space it offers for staging water toys. Finally, there's a watertight door forward in the transom that opens up into the crew area, which is our next stop. Upon entering, we first see that the laundry center is located on the port side. Just opposite is the crew's kitchenette, where your team has access to their own appliances that include refrigeration, a microwave, sink, and plenty of prep space. The layout of the crew quarters consists of 3 cabins, the first of which is on the port side. In here, your second in command has a double berth, plenty of storage, and access to a shared head and shower. Forward of this room is the second crew cabin that shares the same head and shower. This cabin has a bunk arrangement. Just a step outside of the bunk rooms, we have the crew common area that's built around a tabletop, doubling as a dinette. This is right next to the captain's cabin, which is outboard on the starboard side. Passing through the crew area and through the next watertight door brings us into the engine room. A cool feature in this space is the lighting underneath the engines that adds a blue glow to the mechanical space. Stepping inside and looking aft of the engines, we see that powering the house are twin Northern Lights generators, each of which is 55 kilowatts. These are generally running when you're not on shore power. But when you're plugged in, you can do so with confidence because of a pair of Zeus shore power converters. Another essential piece of equipment are twin 1,800 gallon per day sea recovery water makers that fill a 700 gallon fresh water tank. The engines themselves are MTU 12V4000s with 2,735 horsepower per side. These work together to give this 117 a 20-knot cruise and a top speed of around 25 knots. When you're out in open water and moving, her warranted engines and ABT track stabilizers offer you a reliable and stable platform for doing some serious cruising, whether in the cold waters of the Pacific Northwest or the waterways of the Caribbean. One of my favorite layouts on this boat is found on the aft deck. The first thing that jumps out is the size of the space that makes the most of the area without cluttering it up. The most unique aspect of the aft deck's design is the sun pad that's placed aft of the dinette. Most of the day, the sun is shining on this series of comfortable cushions, and it's also a great lookout point to keep an eye on the kids when they're in the water. The main guest experience here, as you might expect, revolves around a centerline dinette that's surrounded by a teak sole. I imagine that this will serve as the primary dining space on board, both because of the view and the protection from the elements. The entire area is shaded by a large molded hardtop that's not only equipped with lighting and speakers, but also a small part of the yacht's larger CCTV system. When it comes to access, there are a pair of side entry gates to port and starboard for those times when you're stepping on board at the stern. The final aspect here to cover is the full wet bar located in the port forward corner of the aft deck. This area is home to a sink, cold storage, and an ice maker, as well as a TV for a little added entertainment. Next, we're going to jump into the Salon, which takes up the full 24-foot beam of the yacht. I love the amount of light in here and how it helps add contrast to a simple, darker color scheme. In addition to the 10 windows that run around the outside of the Salon, there's a ton of cabinet storage that's located immediately below. Looking in, we see that the seating area is located in the aft half of the Salon and includes a pair of overstuffed L-shaped couches on either side of a coffee table. From these comfortable sofas, you have a clear line of sight to a 65-inch TV on a lift that hides away. This is a small part of the Crestron-controlled lighting and entertainment system. Forward of the living area, you step directly into the formal dining room. The mirror placed on the forward bulkhead really magnifies the already voluminous salon, and the simple lighting overhead adds to the area's contemporary look. From here, let's follow Ari forward as he enters the first part of the galley through a tucked-away pocket door. We first enter the stews nook. This is an area dedicated entirely to service and helps the crew keep the food and drinks coming at mealtime. All of this counter space and appliances like a commercial dishwasher and under-counter refrigeration make it easy for you to grab things on the go. Looking over to the port side, we see that beneath the window in the superstructure is a twin sink basin, as well as an ice maker with some extra storage. And then looking back inboard, note this clever storage solution in a large cabinet that sits next to a full-size fridge and freezer. On his way forward, Ari passes a side deck access door and steps into a Thermador marine galley, which we'll call the galley proper. In here, we have all stainless steel cooking appliances that include a 5-burner induction cooktop, as well as 2 ovens and a microwave. There's also a dinette in here, which offers a slight variation on the country kitchen designs long associated with North American shipbuilding. This dinette is the perfect breakfast nook and rests next to a pair of coal drawers and a 55-inch TV. Separating the cooking and dining areas of the galley is a walkway that leads forward and down into the first of 2 VIP staterooms. 4 steps down, we arrive at a stateroom with an aft-facing queen berth. Also found in this secluded guest suite is a TV on a swiveling arm that's right next to a full-sized, cedar-lined hanging locker. This cabin also features an ensuite head and shower to port. Let's pick back up midship on the main deck by the formal dining area and continue into the main deck foyer. The most notable thing in here is a convenient dayhead outboard on the starboard side. In here we see the same stone countertops found throughout the rest of the interior, tying all of the spaces together. Just forward, there's a winding staircase that leads up to the wheelhouse, which is an area that we've already visited. For now, we're going to follow Ari as he heads down the forwardmost staircase that brings us down into the lower guest foyer. Turning aft, our next stop is going to be the master stateroom. This full beam owner's suite features a walk-around king berth with a sizable footprint. Looking first to the starboard side, you immediately notice the size of the windows that fill the master with light. These large windows are a consistent theme that are found in all of the lower guest accommodations, as we're about to see. Below the starboard window, there's a love seat that's just a few steps away from a large storage area in here, a walk-in cedar-lined closet. Facing out of this closet, we see the master stateroom's TV that's mounted on the wall. A few other key features that we find in here are the desk and vanity over on the port side, as well as a luxury ensuite with his and hers stations and a large shower stall. Leaving the master and heading immediately to the starboard side brings us to the first of 2 twin cabins. Each of these guest cabins has a pair of twin berths, of which the outermost rests below the hull side window. I love how great the view is as you look out just above the waterline. And another great aspect of these cabins is the amount of storage and the fact that these accommodations also have private en-suites with showers. Stepping across the hall and into the port side twin stateroom, you'll see a slightly different layout than the last, but with the same amenities. The 5th and final guest stateroom is the forwardmost stop in the lower companionway. This is your second VIP with a transverse queen berth set off to starboard. At the foot of the berth is where we have access into the ensuite, as well as a private walk-in cedar-lined closet that's found just forward of the vanity. Wrapping up in the guest accommodations, Ari is going to lead us up to the last stop on today's walkthrough, the foredeck. Passing through a watertight door, we see another entrance into the yacht from the dock through an entry gate that's integrated into a tall gunnel. This design makes the bow a safe place for guests and crew, especially in inclement weather as the crew readies to drop the anchor or to tie off at the dock. Looking inboard along the superstructure, you can see a long row of windows that are integrated into the galley design, which is something you may have noticed when we looked at the country kitchen dinette. The principal guest use for this space is found at a raised centerline sun pad. Up here, you can sit at least 2 to 3 wide comfortably and enjoy the other's company. This is the most secluded entertaining area and makes for a great getaway at first light. Forward of this and set into the deck are twin Maxwell 4500 windlasses. These raise and lower twin 300-pound anchors. When she's underway, the 2020 Crescent 117 is stunning. The imposing size and flare of the bow leads the charge, with the rest of the long, simple, and elegant lines tracing aft past the Salon and ducking towards the stern. This is the kind of super yacht that really makes you appreciate a true North American design with long-range exploration at its core.
Thanks for joining Ryan Alexander and myself on the walkthrough today of the 2020 Crescent 117. If you would like some more information on the boat, or if you would like to see her in person, feel free to reach out anytime.